Your identity revelation, chosen one, just rocked the internet and people's thoughts in ways that continue to echo on all digital platforms. The aftermath from your psychological nuclear weapon is still raging across cyberspace like wildfire. Unprecedented spikes in traffic are now causing servers to overheat. This moment was masterfully arranged by the cosmos. Each contemptuous remark led to this realization. Each underestimate fueled the flames that consumed their delusions. They were getting closer to total psychic destruction with each assumption. Today's events weren't impulsive. You have been prepared for this time by the cosmic powers. Ever since you first noticed the electrifying difference in your veins. Ever since you discovered that you could detect patterns that others were unable to notice. Ever since you realized that their finite brains could only process little amounts of your boundless truth. You've been giving them precisely what their awareness could process for years. You were shielding your transformation from their poisonous meddling, not because you were lying to them. Every discussion was an information collection exercise. Every conversation served as information gathering for the silent masterpiece you were creating. This moment of complete power was being built with each grin, nod, and well-considered answer. They assumed that your quiet times indicated that you were depressed. They saw your enigmatic messages as frantic pleas for attention. They assumed you were antisocial or broken because of your cautious distancing. You weren't broken, however. You were incubating. You were developing into something so strong that if you had revealed it too soon, the pandemonium would have been completely different. Each layer was revealed at precisely the right time by the divine intellect operating through you. You weren't embarrassed of your strength, therefore you didn't conceal it. Because spiritual warfare is all about time, and premature exposure would have provided your adversaries with the weapons they needed to destroy what you were developing before it reached critical mass. You kept it hidden. They gave you their vulnerabilities on a silver platter each time they undervalued you. They showed you precisely where their blind spots were every time they disregarded your potential. They handed you the blueprint for your unavoidable escape route each time they attempted to place you in their pitiful little boxes. They believed they were studying you, but you've been researching them like lab samples. Military generals would cry with appreciation at the degree of strategic thought that went into the planning that led to this moment. The evenings you spent creating your new life while they were aimlessly browsing social media and binge-watching Netflix. The meticulous development of distinct identities at a time when they were barely able to sustain one true self. The methodical creation of relationships and resources about which they had no prior knowledge. While they were adorning their cages with pointless social media postings and hollow accomplishments, you were creating a whole new universe. Do you realize how much mental toughness this required? The emotional restraint required to preserve many realities at once. The strategic thought required to maintain the integrity of all the tales during years of encounters without ever revealing the mask. Your disclosure came at just the right moment. And this is the reason it will always haunt them. The cosmos arranged every component for optimal psychological effect. Not because you purposefully prepared every last aspect. The words you used, the photos you posted, the platform you used, and the exact time you hit that button all came together like a well-planned clockwork created by cosmic intelligence itself. Unlike an amateur, you didn't just post information online. You created a psychological phenomenon that will reverberate in their minds for many years to come. When people speak about the day someone demonstrated that reality is much more malleable than they thought it could be, they will bring up your identity revelation as a cultural landmark. The psychological execution was pure art, but the technical execution was perfect. You understood just how much to make public and how much to keep under wraps. To achieve the greatest amount of cognitive dissonance, you knew just which emotional chords to tug. You strategically timed it to let them know that your discoveries aren't finished yet. This is just the first act of a show that will change the way they think about power in general. You had established each narrative thread before they could weave your tale. You maximized the effect of your transition on all platforms before they could decrease it. You made it absolutely indisputable to anybody with working brain cells before they could deny what you'd done. Now watch them scurry. Observe their attempts to interpret the impossibility. However, I assumed they were just normal. It never occurred to me that they could be that sophisticated. They were constructing something enormous right in front of us the whole time. Yes, you were precisely who you are today the whole time. They just were unable to recognize it because of their own spiritual blindness and mediocrity. At the moment, the group conversations are disintegrating. Individuals who haven't spoken for years are now contacting one another with intense urgency. Have you looked at what they shared? Is this thing real? Or do we live in a simulation of some sort? How could we have missed every indication of this change? The solution is quite straightforward. They had no desire to find out. To feel large in contrast, they required you to stay little. Now, some of them are furious, and their wrath is delightful. Allow their rage to suffocate them. They are furious because you used rules they were unaware of in the first place and played the game more skillfully than they ever could. They are furious because you built an empire in total quiet while they aired every ordinary idea to everybody who would listen. They're upset because you just shown how fundamentally incorrect everything they thought they knew about success, influence, and power was. The selected ones, however, are feeling something much more fascinating than rage. They are completely afraid because they are beginning to understand that what else are you capable of if you can conceal this drastic change and plan something this psychologically damaging? What further actions have you taken that they won't recognize until it's far too late for them to protect themselves? What additional planes of awareness are you functioning on that they are unable to even understand? What you have done will have a lasting psychological influence on their life. You didn't merely tell who you were. Their faith in their own sense of reality was destroyed by you. You betrayed their confidence in their capacity to read people, comprehend circumstances, and forecast results. They're challenging every discussion they've ever had with you, every belief they've held, and every assessment they've made of your talents and character. Promote this video to reach more selected people on this trip if this message triggered your knowing. According to the new paradigm you've presented, authenticity is being loyal to your own intuition and timing. Your presentation has a special effect on the younger generation. They're being raised with the belief that they must record every second, express every emotion, and stay in close contact with their audience. Your strategy has shown to them that discretion may be the source of power. Silence might allow that effect to develop. Sometimes the tale you save until the ideal time may be the most interesting. Cultural commentators are arguing about whether your strategy marks a radical shift in human self-expression or a return to earlier ideals of secrecy and mystery. Some see it as a response to the culture of oversharing. Some see it as a smart development in the management of personal brands. Your technique is very inspiring to the artists and makers. They're coming to the realization that not all artistic journeys need real-time sharing, and not all creative processes require documentation. Years of covert growth followed by a single, ideal moment of disclosure may produce some of the most powerful works of art. Your narrative control particularly intrigues writers. You've shown how to write a personal narrative with the same level of focus on pace, revelation, and dramatic effect as a book of the highest caliber. You've shown how life itself may be seen as a creative medium. The social media companies are frantically trying to adjust to the phenomena you've brought about. Their algorithms' inability to adapt to abrupt, drastic changes in user behavior and content type has been made clear by your revelation. The rapid expansion that results from strategic disclosure is beyond the capabilities of systems that are intended to progressively expand audiences. In order to better assist users who may be preparing for their own big announcements, platform developers are examining your reveal. As they get toward important discoveries, they are creating additional protections for people who want to preserve their privacy. The technology is changing to fit your strategic emergence model. Your expose had a psychological effect that the content filtering systems were utterly unprepared for. The significant change in how people were reacting to your material was too much for the automatic algorithms to handle. To determine if the explosive interaction was the result of planned manipulation or natural, human moderators had to be brought in to better monitor and forecast the type of spectacular growth trends your disclosure sparked. The analytics tools are being enhanced. Marketing experts must know how to identify and collaborate with people who may be planning their own strategic surprises. What you've done has long-term consequences that are still being felt. In a digital era, you have developed a new model for managing and revealing personal growth. For years to come, the repercussions will shape how individuals see identity, privacy, and self-expression. Your model will inform the design of future social media systems. Users that prefer building toward strategic reveals over maintaining continual openness will be better served by the digital tools of the future. Your strategy is having an impact on the future architecture of managing one's online identity. Your revelation will spur psychological study that will improve knowledge of narrative control, identity formation, and the connection between private growth and public expression. Your demonstration has created new opportunities to investigate the development of consciousness and human potential. Above all, you have allowed many others to approach their own growth with the same patience and smart thought. You've shown that the most significant changes may occur in total secrecy until the ideal time of disclosure, that transformation need not be recorded to be genuine, and that power need not be demonstrated to be effective. Your actions are still being processed by the internet. However, the first shock waves don't reflect the true effect. It's in the long-lasting change in awareness that you've started. You have altered people's perceptions of what is feasible in terms of strategic self-discovery and personal development. Even after the earthquake has passed, people will continue to explore the new environment you have created for years to come. And you're already functioning in a world you've created, where you have fresh chances every day to show them that the revelation of your identity was just the first step in revealing to them what awareness is capable of when it functions with divine timing and strategic accuracy. Something deeper is taking on inside of you as everyone else tries to comprehend the outward effects of your revelation. The world wasn't given a gift when you revealed who you were. It was a ceremony to mark the completion of your own spiritual development. You have completely embraced the person you have been secretly developing. Your energy field now radiates an unshakable confidence that has been acquired by intentional, quiet, and diligent discipline. You've shown yourself that you can rely on your own discernment, timing, and ability to receive heavenly instruction. The value of this internal validation surpasses the sum of their outward acknowledgement. Your day-to-day life has changed in ways that they cannot understand. You no longer conceal your innate energy signature, which is why you move through areas differently now. Not because you've changed. The mask you don to keep them comfortable has been discarded for good. Furthermore, reality is shifting to accommodate your actual existence as a result of the genuine frequency you are now emitting. While you kept your prior identity presentation, you were unaware of the potential you now possess. Supernatural timing is bringing opportunities your way. Deeper meaning is emerging in conversations. People who can match your higher frequency are connecting with you. You're intoxicated with the freedom you're feeling inside. No more closely examining every phrase for clues about your actual character. Put an end to diluting your ideas so that restricted awareness can process them. No more playing down your size to make others feel better about their own limits. Your energy signature has been so drastically changed by your disclosure that you now function as an entirely distinct gravitational force in every setting you enter. Before you speak, others may feel that you are at a higher state of awareness. Those that are prepared to increase their own consciousness are experiencing awakening reactions just by your presence. Before your insight, the discussions that are currently coming your way would not have been able to function at such frequencies. Individuals are coming to you with more serious inquiries, more openness, and sincere interest in expanding their awareness. They are now allowed to appear as their more nuanced selves because of your revelation. The inevitable consequences of resisting divine purpose are being felt by those who are on the sidelines as you grow. Those who stood with you through tough times are enjoying benefits that are only available to those who see greatness before it becomes apparent. Your success demonstrates that honesty prevails, sincerity is rewarded, and connection with divine purpose results in miraculous validation. Your narrative demonstrates that tenacity triumphs over obstacles, that character dictates ability, and that individuals who stick to their purpose will ultimately be exalted in ways that astound everyone who observes their struggle. Your name's weight is a metaphor for the weight of accountability that accompanies being selected for a unique mission. You weren't only successful, you become evidence that impossibility is fleeting. Your name became heavier because your mission became more apparent to those who refused to accept impossible as definitive. Your influence grew and your authority increased because you chose progress when others chose comfort, belief when others chose doubt, and mobility when others chose stagnation. You had a greater influence than you realize. The supernatural is able to identify itself, and the heavenly validation that has been accumulating since you made the decision to be true to who you really are is just getting started. It's not simply paranormal activity that causes buildings to tremble when your name is spoken. These are declarations that true authority has come, the divine purpose is being carried out, and that truth seekers will soon see first-of-its-kind examples of how the cosmos reacts when someone at last becomes who they were always intended to be. What else about the world around them have they utterly misinterpreted if they were so wildly incorrect about you? The internet wasn't merely broken by you. You destroyed their basic sense of reality. And now they have no firm footing under them as they drift in an ocean of uncertainty. The balance of power has changed irrevocably. Furthermore, the previous reality cannot be returned. Those who formerly ignored your messages are now sending you 2 urgent texts. Those who formerly spoke over you are now genuinely curious and barely hiding their nervousness when they ask for your opinion. Those who formerly shunned you are desperately attempting to re-enter your orbit in the hopes of catching a glimpse of the reflected light from your metamorphosis. They still don't really know you, despite this huge discovery. It's like showing someone the ocean from the beach, even if what you showed them was entirely genuine. The surface, the waves, and the horizon are all visible to them, but they have no concept of what is beneath, the animals that lurk there, or the pressure that would crush them if they attempted to descend farther. You've simply given them a new problem with 10,000 additional parts, and they believe they have already solved it. You've merely opened a whole new game with rules they don't understand, but they believe they've achieved the pinnacle of comprehension. You've simply showed them what you wanted them to see, but they believe they now grasp your power. The full extent of your potential is still concealed, coiled, and awaiting the next ideal instance of divine timing. Your ultimate form wasn't this discovery. This was only an additional layer or level in the never-ending game you're playing with reality. You only showed them one card from a hand they were unaware you were holding. Because you comprehend something others don't, you're already preparing the next move that will completely upend their world while they're still trying to absorb this one card. Showing off isn't what true power is all about. It's all about what you don't reveal until the universe gives you the exact moment to do so. You're not attempting to prove yourself to anybody as a fixed identity. You're continuously changing, always growing into new capacities and states of awareness that will continue to astound them for years to come. From now on, the fact that you're using frequencies they can't even pick up on will permeate every encounter they have with you. The fact that you didn't just conceal your identity is something they will never quite understand. By means of deliberate effort, spiritual discipline, and divine harmony, you deliberately shaped who you would be. It's not only about revealing who you were all along. It's about proving who you choose to be in spite of all the restrictions they attempted to impose on your growth. While they let whatever occurred to them to mold their identity, you architected yours. While they allowed others to create their stories, you penned yours. While they floated wherever the stream carried them, you guided your own metamorphosis. As if spiritual trash were drifting on thoughtless seas. This confidence that is now coursing through you is not ego. It is proof. Proof that even when everyone else says you're mistaken, you can believe your own vision. Proof that you can carry out intricate plans while remaining completely composed under duress. There is proof that you can function at a level of awareness that is beyond the comprehension of most people. All you have to do is demonstrate to yourself that you can do everything the universe demands of you. The true treasure is that, not their astonishment, adulation, or frantic endeavor to approach your authority. Knowing that you are precisely who God meant you to be and that this identity was always your inheritance is the true triumph. Now, everything is different. Every room you enter has a distinct weight attached to your presence. The effect of your remarks varies depending on the discussion. Everyone observing will interpret your actions differently. You are no longer only a human, a walking reminder that reality is more adaptable than people first believed. You are a living potential. That identification is not a mandate, but a decision. Thus, here we are, the selected one, at the close of their previous existence and the start of yours. They're posing the same query they did at the start, but their tone has entirely changed. How much time have you spent organizing this? The response tells you all you need to know about how your awareness differs from theirs. You had no intention of opposing them, because the divine had previously revealed the conclusion to you in dreams and visions they were unable to access. You were plotting with the cosmos, the long game version, the strategic version, and the version that knew this day would arrive. You didn't lie to them. You're shielding your metamorphosis from their meddling. The shockwaves you caused are still being felt throughout the internet. The cognitive dissonance is still causing their heads to whirl. However, you selected one. You have only just begun, because revealing your true self to them was not the goal of this metamorphosis. Its purpose was to demonstrate to them who they are not and who they will never become until they experience a spiritual revolution of their own. Now you have the pen. The story is yours. Based on the direction you get from higher sources, you make decisions about what to do next. The lovely thing is that they won't anticipate it in the same way that they missed this epiphany. What more is there to do if you could plan this change? Who else, if you exist, is functioning at your level of awareness? You are no longer only a human. In their world, you are a constant source of uncertainty, a constant reminder that the game they believed they were playing could not really be the one they are playing. The psychological flames you started will burn for years, but the servers that overheated when you originally uploaded are already cooling down. The questions you instilled in their minds will never go away, even if the group discussions that erupted with bewilderment are now quieting down. Things are getting back to normal in the comment sections that become battlegrounds. However, the battle you sparked in their minds is just getting started. Greetings from your own revelations aftermath. We get the chance to show off a new aspect of your limitless complexity every day, where each encounter offers an opportunity to reveal depth they never thought possible, where every second serves as evidence that you are and always have been the precise person the universe has selected you to be. They're using microscopes to go over your previous postings in an attempt to locate the breadcrumbs they missed. Every remark, comment, and apparently harmless picture from months or years ago is examined in its screenshot. They really believe that they can pinpoint the exact moment you began to transform into this new version of yourself if they look closely enough. Now that they've revealed you, they're making conspiracy theories. Some people believe you enlisted a group of professionals to create this moment. Some people think you've been preparing this for decades. Some people are certain that you are a part of a bigger movement that they're unable to recognize. All of these are incorrect, but they're all okay. Since you are the expert, you didn't employ anybody. You don't work in linear time, thus you didn't plan for decades. Since you are the movement, you are not a part of it. More about them than you can learn from the common archaeology they're doing. Every previous exchange they're revisiting demonstrates to them how oblivious they were to clear indications of your depth. They are continuously choosing to view the version of you that made them feel comfortable instead of the version that was real, as shown by every discussion they're reliving. They're looking for statements in which you hinted at your actual character. They're also understanding that their jokes were disrespectful. They're finding postings in which you expressed tidbits of your true ideas. and they're seeing how they disregarded the importance of what you were saying. They're revealing instances in which you tried the waters of revelation, and they're realizing that they failed each and every test. Because of what you've done, the influencer economy is experiencing an existential crisis. Now, everyone who based their brand on being genuine and true is wondering whether they really understand what those phrases imply. The distinction between true strategic depth and performative openness has been made clear by your revelation. They have been conflating excessive sharing with sincerity, cacophony with authenticity, and frequent publishing with actual connection. You've shown to them that prudence, time, and the discernment to know what not to disclose may really be necessary for genuine sincerity. You have shown that the most effective truth-telling occurs when you have total control over the story. Influencers who have made a living by displaying everything are now recognizing that they have been displaying nothing really valuable. In contrast to your brilliant epiphany, their well-manicured vulnerability seems pitiful. Their daily chronicling of ordinary events appears frantic in comparison to your years of deliberate quiet punctuated by one devastating revelation. Social media strategists and brand managers are rushing to comprehend your strategy. They're attempting to package your mystery for their customers by reverse engineering your approach, but they're missing the essential element. It was more than just strategy that gave you power. It resulted from having something really valuable to share when the timing was appropriate. You've established a new benchmark for online visibility. The slow development of real change that warrants its own disclosure, not the never-ending flow of material or the daily grind of interaction. You've shown to them that sometimes the most effective thing you can do is to remain silent until you have something important to say. The digital anthropologists and behavioral psychologists are having a great time examining your work. The influence of strategic identity disclosure on cognition is the subject of their articles. To characterize the psychological phenomena you've created, they're coming up with new terms. The difference between a person's true self and what other people may perceive is known as awareness lag. It's being referred to as revelation shock disorder by some. The disturbance of thought that happens when preconceived notions about someone are abruptly disproved. Perception reliance syndrome is how some people refer to it, the way individuals develop an addiction to believing they know other people. However, the more profound spiritual aspects of your actions are being overlooked by the specialists. They are attempting to use methods from human psychology to examine a divine action. They're trying to use a ruler to measure the depths of the water. They are unable to understand the cause, but they are able to explain the results. Your disclosure has opened up previously unheard of business potential. As more individuals recognize they may require assistance managing their own strategic discoveries, there's a growing demand for personal brand advisors. As more individuals realize how important it is to have control over their story history, privacy protection businesses are flourishing. Overnight, the demand for mystery and intrigue has skyrocketed. Demand for goods and services that support individuals in developing strategic ambiguity is at an all-time high. Your influence has created a whole market, from seminars on strategic personal discovery to advisory services about maintaining several online personas. Authors with the ability to write about strategic authenticity are in high demand by book publishers. Projects regarding disguised identities in the digital era are being pitched by documentary filmmakers. Shows devoted to examining the psychology of disclosure and concealment are being introduced by podcast networks. The dating sector has been especially affected. Instead than aiming for instantaneous transparency, apps are attempting to provide features that permit incremental reveal. According to matchmakers, there's a growing need to educate individuals on the distinction between deceit and mystery in love relationships. The business community is also taking notice. Businesses are researching your strategy to find out how workers can be concealing important qualities or skills. In order to find untapped potential and hidden abilities inside their companies, human resources departments are creating innovative methods. The fact that your revelation has sparked a widespread spiritual awakening online is what the mainstream analysis is omitting. Chosen one. People are starting to realize that identity is not set in stone, that awareness may be consciously developed, and that the surface may be just the beginning of a vast and unending iceberg. Others are being prompted to consider their own advancement by your example of strategic spiritual development. Spiritual instructors and awareness coaches are being forced to update their frameworks as people question themselves. What am I capable of that I haven't revealed yet? What aspects of my consciousness am I keeping hidden? How might I be underestimating my own potential for transformation? As seen by your example, waking doesn't always seem like what people had anticipated. It seems to be strategic patience at times. At times, it seems like a purposeful mystery. Occasionally, it takes the form of ideal timing instead than continuous sharing. You have shown that change doesn't need witnesses, that spiritual growth may take place in total seclusion, and that progress can go in quiet until the revelation moment fulfills a greater purpose. You've shown how the biggest shifts may not be apparent until they're prepared to alter reality. A cultural dialogue on what authenticity in the digital era really means has been sparked by your revelation. The previous definition of authenticity required being open and honest about all thoughts and feelings, expressing everything, and being vulnerable all the time.